Hello and good evening, everyone. Welcome back to the stream. When last we left off, we did episode Ignis, which occurs just after this fight with Leviathan that we're going to do now, and which we've learned what happened to Ignis, after the bit of the time skip after Leviathan's fight, where essentially Lunafreya preserved the summoning of Titan to protect Noctis for as long as she could. That is until her brother Ravis and Ignis showed up to the altar. And after that, she released the summoning, and she passed on, basically, which was that kind of sad scene there with Ravis. And then Ravis afterwards kind of snapped a little bit, only for Ignis to drag him back to his senses in an epic fight there. But things took a turn for the worse, though, when Arden showed up. And that's when Ignis was forced into making a sort of choice, if you will. Whether he would play along and join Arden on whatever Arden's quest was, or he would resist Arden and protect Noctis for as much as he could. And we actually took the canon route, which is the official route, which was Ignis fighting back against Arden, using the Ring of the Lucii, which is kind of similar to what Nyx Ulrich did in the Kingsglaive movie, where he used the ring's power to mortally injure Glauca, aka Drados, to help Luna escape. And then later on he entrusted the ring to her, like after his battle, you could say. But the ring, I guess using the ring cost Nyx his life. Hence, do you see his shadow at the end of the game before fighting Arden. Ignis did something similar back here in Altisha, only instead of giving up his life, he actually gave up his vision. And that was the price he paid in order to wield the ring for as long as he did. But in the end, it doesn't seem like it was quite enough to really push Arden away, so to speak. Arden still withdrew, but he did so just so that he could delay, like, kind of the inevitable, you know. Like, he actually had no plans to kill Noctis right there, then and there. He just kind of made a speech there to rile Ignis. And he definitely riled Ignis enough to make him use the ring, that's for sure. And so, with that in mind, Arden just decided that he would leave Noctis alone for the time being and let him continue to gather his power so that he could fulfill the prophecy. And after that which Arden would destroy Noctis, and then crush the crystal along with him, and obtain his revenge, you could say, against not only the family that disowned him and kind of besmirched his good name that he had as the healer of the people and the savior, but also to get revenge against the gods who forsaken him when he needed them the most. So that was kind of Arden's end game goal there, is to make it so that Noctis would fulfill the prophecy, and then he could turn the prophecy over on its head and destroy the last line of his family, Lucis, and as well as destroy the crystal to, destroy the gods, essentially. So but enough of that. We'll get to that point eventually here through the playthrough. Let's continue the fight with Levithan here, and then we'll get moving on to further in the story, and I'm hoping I can get to episode prompto, but only time will tell. I've been actually kind of feeling a little sick today, so that's why my voice is a little out of place compared to how it was yesterday, so I apologize for that. But we'll try to get to episode prompto, and we'll do that episode and close off the episode there. Hopefully minimal interruptions occur.
The only way you'll help me is if I take you down?
Now, about that ring. On second thought, you let him have it. And do remind him about the crystal.
Oh, Prince, your bride awaits!
I will pass the ring to the rightful king. When the prophecy is fulfilled, all enthralled to darkness shall know peace.
How sweet. But please, Lady Lunafreya, you first.
Interesting thing about that little scene there. In the Comrades DLC, the Glaives believed that they couldn't restore their powers because of the betrayal of the Glaives from Galahad. So they kind of believed that, you know, because of that betrayal, they lost favor with the gods and such. And so they couldn't really use their glaive arts for anything. Which is kind of weird, actually, because even after Regis passed away, like, you see that it didn't affect Gladio or Core at all. They were still using their glaive arts. But anyway, in the Comrades DLC, there's a comment made by one of the Glaives saying that in this scene how Luna called upon all the kings of the past to aid Noctis, essentially. That she essentially, what she did is she awoke all those dormant powers that were lying in the tombs. And so that kind of triggered a sort of release, you could say. And it not only aided Noctis here in this fight, but it also made it so that the Glaives, because the kings of the past decided that Noctis was indeed the successful heir and the true king of the prophecy, that his power would be shared with you know, with his worshippers, his those who were loyal to, you know, the Lucii, basically. And that's kind of, I guess, why, the character that we control in Comrades, that's kind of why they can wield glaive arts, because Luna Freya made it so that Noctis received the blessing of all his ancestors here in this fight. And that blessing carried over to the King's Glaive serving Noctis as well. Or like the ones, you know, who still kind of believed in him. destroyed Leviathan here. She had no chance. Of course, Leviathan's a tough old girl. She doesn't give up just 'cause a little scratch.
It's done.
But anyway, the Kingsglaive thing, that was just a fun fact I thought I'd share with you guys in relation to this scene.
Blessed stars of life and light.
Now I find that kind of funny, out of all the 6 that Luna could have called, she decided to call Titan of all of them. You figure, you know, Romby would have been more helpful in that instance there because of his lightning. Would have just electrocuted Leviathan down.
Luna?
So, you found your way here.
And you found me.
A chance to see you once more. Who would have thought?
Well, what do you mean? Why wouldn't you see me?
Because my prayers have been answered. My calling fulfilled.
But that doesn't have to come between us.
You are the one, Noctis. The stars shine for you now. That which is yours by right shall be restored to you. Do you remember the flowers of Tenebrae? It seems so long ago. You'll find they await you still, blooming from hill to vale.
Will you be there?
Would that I could join you. But this moment will have to be enough.
It's not right. All I wanted was to save you.
When the world falls down around you and hope is lost. When you find yourself alone amid a lightless place. Look to the distance. Know that I am there. And that I watch over you always. Farewell, dear Noctis.
But sadly, it all happened while he was in his coma. Poor Noct.
Back with us. I'll tell the others. Though it may take a bit. You're hurt. Ah, small sacrifice in the greater battle. And Luna? She has passed. Umbra left that for you.
And it was there that Ignis suggested that Noctis quit the journey for a time. But of course, Noctis decided that he shouldn't waste Luna's precious gift to him. And subsisting that Ignis of all people should know that. And of course, poor Iggy. Of course he knows that. He knows it very well. Because he received a vision from the crystal, essentially, showing him the future. So poor old Iggy was just trying to delay Noctis' poor fate to give up his life for the world, essentially. And rather, he wanted to take Noctis' place as that sacrifice, you could say. But it never came to pass, sadly. Because the prophecy had to be fulfilled by no one but Noctis himself. There were no ins and outs. That's kind of funny. Prompto took a picture of that little conference meeting. Now comes the scene of Noctis' breakdown. Where he's not completely at terms with Luna's passing. To which Gladio says, wake up! How about caring about your friend Iggy, who gave up a lot for you? Gave up his vision just so you could carry on with your destiny, etc. Noctis is just like, nope. Nope. He killed my waifu. I must go AWOL and destroy the Empire. That's Gladio for you. He's always spurring Noctis on. Like he said, when Noctis can't think, he thinks for him. The true shield of the king. Though you still feel kind of bad for Ignis. Even after, you know, after you've played through his episode there. You feel really bad for Ignis. He kind of gets the backseat treatment all the way through here. Up until the, you know, the last confrontation where he's actually stands as an equal again with everyone.
So, we're gonna roll through Tenebrae.
Not before visiting the royal tomb at Gartanico.
You're sure you're up to that?
The wounds have mended. Eyesight's a matter of time.
What the hell is wrong with you?
What?
We're not stopping in Tenebrae. You need to grow up and get over it.
I am over it. I'm here, aren't I?
Maybe when you're not too busy moping, you can look around and give a shit about someone worse off than you.
Let go of me.
How's that ring fit you? You rather carry it around than wear it? She gave her life so you could do your duty, not so you could sit around feeling sorry for yourself.
You don't think I know that?
You don't! Ignis took one for you too. And for what?
Enough, Gladio.
You think you're a king, but you're a coward.
Shut up! Don't do this!
I get it, all right? I get it! Then get a grip. Pull your head out of your ass already.
Not!
Leave him.
When you think about this chapter here, you think back to Bahamut's line, where he says, those who serve the king risk life and limb for him and the country.
Help at all?
And that it's the king's duty to do the very same thing that his subjects do for him. And that's kind of the train of thought that Noctis isn't on at this moment here. And it's not until, you know, He's swallowed up by the crystal's light, and he sleeps for 10 years in reflection, as Bahamut calls it. It's not until through that deep slumber that he realizes the true meaning of those words that Bahamut spoke.
I saw the way you were looking at her.
I wasn't looking at anyone.
All the while that's going on, of course, that's when the Comrades DLC takes place, and we're going to do that in this playthrough as well, so you guys get to experience a little bit of that story and what happened there. But it's still kind of incomplete, whereas like I think it was kind of rushed a bit to get this out, the Comrades out, because like they give you the general idea of, you know, what went on and stuff and what went down during this time where Noctis was absent. Oh, please excuse me, there, I had a little sneeze. But
High Commander Foray has been deemed accountable for Altisha's tragedy and sentenced to execution. Lord Ravis Nox Fleury was promoted to the Imperial Army's top post amid the turmoil of the failed peace talks. The High Commander's primary responsibility was restoring stability to Lucis. Yet his campaign against the Hydrian ended in disaster, incurring monumental losses for the Empire and collateral damage to the area.
But yeah, they give the general idea, like I said, in Comrades of what went on.
It's not looking good. What I wouldn't give to see her again. They charge us an arm and a leg for this slot? That's Imperial quality for you.
Which basically what the general idea that they're giving you of Comrades is that, you know, the Glaives, and along with, you know, Noctis's friends here, they were kind of just left behind while he entered into the reflection, the slumber, for 10 years. They were left behind to safeguard the world for his return, so that, you know, he would have something to return to when he awoke from his deep sleep. And they don't show the whole 10 years in Comrades, unfortunately. They kind of just give you like a little bit of a tidbit here. A taste, you could say.
Welcome. What's on your minds? We'll see you around.
And I mean, in the Comrades DLC, they do kind of show you a little bit how those 10 years have passed. Like at the very end, like with the ending credit sequence. And they show you, you know, as time passed with just with screenshots and everything, so like I feel like they could have done a cutscene for all of that to better explain it, but hey, I guess they were short on resources or time or both maybe, and they decided not to do that. They decided not to have like a short kind of narrative cutscene explaining, hey, the Glaives and Noctis's friends did this and that, yada yada, through those 10 years until Noctis, the prophesied hour arrived, and you know, everyone was summoned together in an anticipation of Noctis's awakening, essentially. I guess it's Gentiana who kind of tells everyone that the prophesied hour arrived and that Noctis was going to awaken from sleep. So, you know, like she told Noctis's friends to prepare themselves, and the Kingsglaive, they kind of got a final rest, I guess you could say, after toiling all those 10 years to, you know, protect both the people and their king, you know, from harm, from the demons and stuff. They kind of redeemed themselves, you could say, the Kingsglaive, in the eyes of the 6 gods and, you know, the crystal. They kind of redeemed themselves. And that's kind of what the Comrades DLC story is all about, is a sort of redemption story. The Kingsglaive are repenting for their crime of betraying the throne, betraying Regis. Like, even though, you know, it wasn't the entire Kingsglaive that sold Regis out, as you can see in the Kingsglaive movie. You know, there were still good glaives like Nyx, Gladio's father, and stuff like that, Core. You know, there were still good glaives like them who were still behind Regis, you know. So it's not like all the glaives were, you know, against each other. Like, it wasn't like what I was trying to say is that they weren't all to blame for the whole, you know, incident of the Citadel and what happened there. It was mainly just, you know, Glauca, you know, Drado, aka Drados. It was him and, you know, the people that followed him from his home, which was Galan, or Galam, however you say it, Galaham. It was basically him and that small, like, faction, you know, that kind of invited, you know, disaster to the Citadel. They snuck the Empire under Regis's radar and stuff like that. But interesting enough, though, the character that you control in Comrades, he was given the message, you know, like sort of a warning, you could say, from one of his friends, which was from Drados' home, Galam, or Galam, however you want to say that. But your friend, Lazarus, he messaged you, your player-controlled character. He messaged you on your phone, saying that
there's an elevator that should take us straight down to the mine. Wonder if the tomb's inside. Those two went to grab a bite in that glorified dining car they call a restaurant.
yeah, anyway, your character's friend, Lazarus, he forwarded you the message that Drados sent to, everyone from all the glaives that were associated with Gollum. He forwarded you the message and saying, that he was gonna side with Drados for his home, his fallen home, Gollum, and sort of betray Regis. And I guess your character had a sort of conflict in their mind, maybe. Like, it's really vague. Like, they don't give you like a full backstory or anything like that. You kind of have to piece it together yourself, but like, you kind of get the gist that, your character may have had an internal conflict.
Ready to set out?
It's so mean to say leave him behind. Come on, Iggy, let's go.
I'll manage somehow.
Especially after, all he's been through, Ignis. It'd be so mean just to say leave him behind. But anyway, back to the topic. Yeah, this character you're playing as, which you actually can customize yourself and choose their gender, etc. You can imagine they were having this internal conflict.
Feeling a little out of my element.
We're a foreign species in this environment. Mind we don't end up prey.
Right. Good tip.
Can kind of imagine that sort of internal conflict that's going on.
Bad. Watch your step.
As best I can.
Go at your own pace. We'll wait.
You have your friend here in the glaive who's basically going turncoat. And they forward you this message expecting you to be a pal and join them, basically committing a mutiny.
Don't push yourself, Ignis.
Against, the king, the king who protects.
Is it too much to ask the royal procession sticks together?
Too much to ask you to shut it?
Uh-oh, it just got glitched. Iggy! Don't stay glitched, Iggy! Oh dear. Iggy got glitched, everyone. Ignis! Are you still glitched? Oh man. Poor Ignis. Got glitched. I'll help you, Iggy. I'll try to. Iggy! Oh dear. I think he's stuck there. Ignis! Come on, Ignis. Get yourself unstuck. Oh man. Poor Ignis. Yeah, well, maybe he'll come unstuck with the cutscene here. We can only hope.
Hurry up. Ain't got time to waste.
Think I don't know that?
Iggy! Oh no, poor Ignis. He's forever stuck in that loop.
Tomb must be down below.
Whoa, careful, Ignis.
Right.
Poor Ignis, maybe he'll get unstuck with the cutscene, hopefully. But,
They parked here?
Huh. Wish we could write him a ticket.
Nothing but a giant roadblock.
hey, there he is.
If we get its motor running, perhaps we can move it out of the way.
Saved by a cutscene, Ignis. I mean, the Kingsglave's actions, they are sort of justified in a way, you know. Like Regis, you know, he let like Gala, the refugees of Gala and you know, of Tenebrae, you know, especially Tenebrae, you know, he let them guys, you know, kind of come to Lucis, and he swore an oath that he would provide them, you know, with food and shelter, you know, safety, etc.
This looks promising.
Is it operational?
We'll see.
Hey, what are you stopping for?
I'm not. Let's see here. In case of power failure, use backup generators. There's a key in the shed.
Slow down.
But like, you know, after Galan and Tenebrae, you know, after they fell to the Empire, the Gralean Empire of Niflheim, you know, the people, you can imagine, you know, the glaives especially that were from those regions, you kind of felt a little bit, you know, kind of felt like they were betrayed in a way, you know, because Regis, you know, he kind of decided to abandon, you know, them essentially. But like, he didn't really have much choice in the matter, even though, you know, I'm sure Regis felt a lot of guilt, and he felt probably a lot of guilt and shame in not being able to do anything, you know, to prevent what happened to Gollum and to Tenebrae. But as the famous line goes in this game, you know, it's one that Regis himself is quoted from saying, is a king never looks back, no matter you know, no matter what happens or what goes on, he always pushes forward. So even though all these bad things were happening, and Regis was aware of it and stuff, and could he have prevented it? Possibly, yeah. He probably could have prevented some of the things from happening that did happen, but
hey, you should hang back. Was I in the way? No, you weren't. It's just...
like, even though Regis, you know, he knew all this stuff, and he probably could have prevented, you know, prevented some of it from happening, he was given, you know, the prophecy from Gentiana,
Prompto. Perhaps it's time for some
as
light.
well as from Bahamut, you know.
How did you...
The hour is late. That much I can tell.
Oh, I see. That's good.
Regis was given the prophecy, you know, that,
Watch out, Iggy. They're on top of us.
Ah, thank you.
Don't thank me yet.
Glad that's over.
I only wish I could do more.
You staying alive is enough.
ah, poor Iggy. Poor Ignis. Thrown in the back seat, even though he took one for the team. So rude, Square Enix.
Found it.
Good.
That takes care of the key.
And the generators?
Apparently, they're back by the control panel.
Then let's go.
Don't run ahead.
Sorry guys, I keep stopping because I don't want to interrupt their lines. Now, the prophecy Regis was given from Bahamut and from Gentiana is that his son, which is Noctis here, was chosen to be the he was ordained as the savior, the one who banishes the star scourge from, you know, from the world, and restores, you know, the light to the world, essentially. And so Regis felt it was necessary to kind of protect Noctis at all costs, even if it meant, you know, it meant him becoming, you know, like this terrible king in the eyes of the people. He still wanted to make sure, you know, that Noctis was safe and that he was able to fulfill this prophecy which was given. But at the same time, though, Regis wanted Noctis to make this decision for himself, essentially. Like, he didn't want Noctis to feel like, you know, it was his destiny either way, you know, whether he wanted to accept it or not. Regis wanted to be a good father, and, you know, he wanted Noctis to find his own purpose in life, to find his own reason to want to take up the mantle of king.
Hey, Noct!
No way to work the machine with that way.
Then take it out!
It's proving a challenge.
What did you expect?
Where is it? Right here.
How does it look?
She's wired and ready. Give it a go.
And don't blow it up.
Oh, thanks for the advice. Did it work?
Yep. One more to go.
Back to with the episode with Core there, you know, he kind of reminded Noctis, you know, before Noctis left, you know, the Crown City, he reminded Noctis, you know, that, with his last remaining moments with Noctis, he wanted to be his dad and not the king, you know. And he gave those parting words to Noctis, you know. Wheresoever you go, the line of Lucis goes with you, etc. And he said, walk tall, my son. And he's basically, you know, kind of saying to him, you know, you carry a big responsibility, a big burden on your shoulders. Make sure that you walk it, through to the end, the way, you know, the way that he wants to walk it, you know.
We've got the power!
Might not have it for long, though. Hurry up and move the machine.
Yes, sir.
No, dang it, they're back.
So much for sticking together.
Should be able to handle this, right?
Nope.
Watch yourself.
Can't use your comrades here.
are always in the darkest places.
Glad you're taking this seriously.
And so back in that tomb with Core, you know, Noctis kind of threw.
Sounds like we're clear.
Grand. Then let's move.
Noctis threw it back to, you know, kind of Core's, you know.
Try thinking of others.
See, can we get through here? Nope, I guess not. Oh boy. So I'm sure those like to throw us for a loop. I could have sworn there was a way to get over there.
Hold up. You sure you're ready for this? You got what it takes?
To do what?
To face your ancestors and convince them to lend you their strength. Got a long road ahead. Can you see this through? To the end?
Show resolve or show frustration. Frustration, of course.
As if I have a choice. You think I like the idea of people sacrificing themselves for me? One after the other?
Enough. Forget it. I thought you'd accepted your duty. I thought wrong.
Good to go.
We did it! Together!
Going it alone, huh?
Let's see, is this way lead us to there? Maybe. It does! Awesome. Gotta make camp. They always take the long way, those guys. And I'm losing my train of thought again. So sorry. But anyway, Noctis threw back in Core's face, you know, after he reminded him that Regis just wanted to be his father. That he'd forsake the masses for one prince. For his life, basically. And, you know, that's kind of what led to, you know, Drados' betrayal there. And the claves that joined him that kind of led to that betrayal. And as I said, like, it's kind of justified why they did what they did, because, you know, we just kind of did, you know, he abandoned Gralean and Tenebrae. And he did so to protect Noctis's life, essentially. And he put up that, you know, after Noctis regained his consciousness from the coma he fell into as a child when he was attacked by a demon, which is the Monolith demon in the anime. And once he, once he regained himself in Tenebrae, the Empire came after. The Empire came after, after Regis and Noctis. Because I guess, Gyarados was given the directive, from the Empire, that they had to take Noctis alive. And he wasn't sure, Gyarados wasn't exactly sure as to why that was. And for what purpose, But like, Arden, he kind of insisted that, that Noctis would be taken alive and put under their custody, essentially. Whereas Gyarados just figured that he would just kill Noctis and end the line of the Lucii. But that would, greatly conflict with Arden's grand scheme.
I'm exhausted.
But essentially, though, Regis took Noctis, and he was trying to take Luna with him as well. Then he was fleeing Tenebrae in the one scene that we see, at the beginning of this game, kind of. And you also see the same thing in, I think you see it in, the Kingsglaive movie, the same scene where, where, Luna and, Ravis's mother sacrifices herself to save them. And then doing this, she also grants the opportunity for Regis to flee, which he was attempting to do with Luna and with Noctis. But I guess Luna had other plans, and she let herself be captured and let Regis continue on without her. And that was the stem of Ravis's hatred towards Regis. Is that Regis fled and left them behind to be held as hostages, essentially, to the Gralean Empire. And where you have the impatient Gyarados, like I said, he wanted nothing more to just end things, kill Regis and kill Noctis to end their reign as the kings, chilled food tin. That sounds pretty gross. I don't think I'd stuff that in my mouth.
Took more photos today. You want to see?
No, not really.
Yeah, of course.
Aw, poor Ignis. That's where he got stuck. Ugly looking toad.
We should get moving. You okay, Ignis?
I'm fine. Don't mind me.
Slow down.
No one likes a nag, Gladio. Oh man, are we gonna have to take the long way back? Ugh. Please, no. Ah, there we go. Good shortcut. Of course, they're all gonna take the long way, so... While they're doing that, I guess we'll just wait for them to catch up. But anyway, that's kind of what led to Drados and, you know, this friend of the character you control in Comrades DLC. That's what kind of led them to betray Regis and the Crown City. Is because Regis decided to, you know, kind of forsake all and to fulfill the prophecy and make sure that Noctis was kept alive and safe and raised so that he could fulfill the prophecy. And what I think is that prior to the operation beginning where the Crown City and the signing attack happened, I think that your character decided to become, to stay loyal to to the king, to Regis.
This cave is huge.
The tomb's further in?
You want to wait here?
Alone. Here.
Not what I said. Oh, man. Something stinks around here.
Don't slip and fall and whatever that is.
So I think your character and comrade, sorry. I think his friend Lazarus, your friend Lazarus, you were trying to convince them to change their mind, I suppose. And as we see in the, you know, in the opening scene to Comrades, where it shows, you know, some glaives entering onto a ship, and then like once they enter, you see that Regis is there with Lunafreya, but there's this one glaive who's talking to them, and he kind of gets stabbed in the back by these traitors that worked with Drados, and then the resulting conflict causes this ship to go crashing down, etc. And so what happens to your character is he was aboard that ship trying to, you know, protect Regis, I guess you could say. But he didn't quite make it out so gracefully. And what happens is your character suffered some big trauma to the cranium, to the noggin, and this caused your character to forget things, forget their memories, you know, to forget like forget what happened in the Citadel, and forget who they are, and everything like that. And so I guess you could say they're kind of suffering amnesia of sorts.
Keep an eye on Iggy.
I'll keep both on him.
That'll do.
Get back!
Ah, these damn water guns.
Don't run ahead.
So this amnesiac Crown's Guard, or Glaive, which is the character you control, was found by the hunters on the outskirts of, can't remember the exact location, but it was somewhere in Lucis. And I guess Disgaea, I'd say Disgaea region is probably a fair assumption. But your character's